1:6. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of wicked leads to destruction.
Hey queens, welcome back to my channel, and today is a story time. We are gonna talk about the time that this boy actually touched my vagina, and yes, touch. Really, he grabbed my purse. Basically, I go to Champlain and we have this acting class. Now, acting class is basically where you act, of course. Him and I were in the same class or whatever, and I'm gonna just give you guys a backstory basically before I get into it. I was friends with a lot of guys in 10th grade. I'm friends with guys now, but I used to hang out with them so much. And I mean, he would like say stuff sexually towards me, but it used to be a lot of guys that used to do that, so I used to be like, oh, whatever, they just talking, they're just horny boys. And he used to like say, oh, you thick, da-da-da, you got a big butt or whatever. And he didn't touch me, so I was like, okay, fine, whatever. He would just say some things, and I would be like, he just a horny little boy. So I was friends with this guy, and we're gonna call him Tupac because he looked like Tupac. And him and I would like kind of play around a little bit, like play fight, and just joke around with each other. And we're hanging out in the guy, and we're gonna call him, let's say, we're just gonna call him Jace. So it's like a row of the class, so it's like me is a row, like I think it was like 4 rows, or yeah, it was 4 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I was in the middle, and then the other guy that touched my purse was by me, like he was across from me. Him and I have never ever like had any type of like whatsoever, any type of beef. Like him and I have he's never rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, he said some certain things, but I'm like, that's just boys, I'm gonna just brush it off my shoulders. Now I wish a boy would talk to me like that. So I was sitting by him, and then I was playing around with Tupac, and I was play fighting him because like I don't know why I was play fighting with him, but him and I would like play fight a lot, and he was like pushing me or whatever. So then I started cracking up, and then I turned around, and then Jace, this is my vagina right here, just this is my vagina. He does this. Y'all see that? He does this to my purse. When I say I was freaking livid, I was ticked. I don't even think livid was even the word. I was ticked to the max. I reacted so quick. I was like, why the fuck did you touch my vagina? That's what I said. And he was like, I ain't touched you, I said, yes the fuck you did. So I started hitting him. And then I was like, you know what, like I was like, now I should go to my house office and tell, because I was so livid. And if you guys know my history, you know like I don't play that type of stuff. It's like things that has happened to where I don't play that type of stuff. If I ain't invite you to touch, don't touch. And he was like he was cracking up with his friends like, I ain't touch her. And then Tupac, with his old ugly self, even though I'm cool with him now, but with his old ugly self, he gonna say, yeah, he ain't touch you. But I feel like he didn't see it either, so I really can't say anything. But so I was like, you know what, I'm ticked. He's laughing. Instead of like saying, okay, I'm sorry, I see you pissed, I'm sorry, he gonna deny it to the max. So I walked out of the class, and my teacher was right by there talking to Chevelle. Chevelle, if y'all don't know, if y'all watch my Snapchat, then y'all know. Chevelle is like my girl, my hype girl. Like her and I could just get turned together. And she comes with my teacher, because I guess they were talking about some stuff, and like they were going back into the room, and he was like, oh, Anea, where you're going? And I was like, I'm going to my house office. And he was like, why? I said, because of Jace just touched me inappropriately down in my private area. And he was like, oh, okay, we'll go. It's like I was crying, you guys. I had tears. Like I just like everything in my brain was just like shook. Like I was so shocked that he even touched me like that. So then I go to my house office and I'm telling them, and they're like, yeah, we're sorry, da da da, we'll investigate in it and stuff like that. And they're like, we can send you back to class. I was like, I can't go back to class. I need to stay out before I do something. So I was just going off on them. And they're like, oh, Anaya, we understand. Would you like to go talk to Mr. Cobb and Miss Westbrook? And Mr. Cobb and Miss Westbrook is basically the counselors at Champlain. They clutch, they good, like, yes. So I went to Miss Westbrook, and Miss Westbrook is like a mother to me, kind of like a mother slash grandma, because she reminds me of my grandma, but she's also like has that motherly love. And so I go to her and I'm talking to her. She's like, you should have came up to us and tell us before you went to your house office and da da da. But I was telling her, like, my first reaction was to go to my house office because I felt like I was gonna actually hurt him, like so bad. Like I felt like I was gonna go off and actually give him the business. So I had to leave that class. So I stayed out of that class for probably like 2 weeks or 2 weeks and like a half a week or whatever. But it was a long time before I got back into that classroom because I just felt disrespected. I felt like he just gonna get away with it. So one day I was in the classroom and the officer that goes to our school asked me to come down there. So he was asking me what happened, so I told him the story, and then he was like, so how did he touch you? And then I'm looking at him like,
Bitch, what?
are you really gonna ask me how did he touch me? He touched me. I don't need to show you how he touched me. I'm not just gonna stand up and touch my cooch and then show you how he touched me. Like, who does that? And so I was like, do you have any other objects so I can show you? But it also felt a little uncomfortable because he's a man and he's talking to me on how another guy touched me. That just feels so uncomfortable and just, ugh. Basically got my arm and I was like, this is my vagina. And he touched me. He did this. And he was like, did I show you guys? He did this. Okay, but yeah. And so he was like, so what we can do is investigate it and then see what it is. But that's all we can do. Do you know anybody that was watching? I was like, I really don't know. I was playing with Tupac, and it happened from there. And he was like, well, the best thing we can do is investigate it and we'll tell you what else we can do, da da da. So, they didn't really come to me and talk to me about anything, but my counselor did calm me down, and she was like, is everything okay? Are you good? We did tell we called your dad and told your dad about what happened and things like that. And when I told my dad, like, he was pissed, but like my dad shows a different type of piss. Like when he's pissed off, he's basically quiet. He doesn't really say too much because, you know, like, he's one of those that if he say too much, he might react. And so he didn't want to react. This is my child, and you're invading her space. And this is like, it's another thing if you touch my arm or something, but you're touching private parts that I didn't even share with you. I've never even told you to just come and touch me. Like, we ain't even in no relationship to be doing that. Better yet, period, it don't matter. You should never been touching me. So, then I just basically stayed away from him. Now this year I saw him, and this is his last year. He was talking to this one girl, and like he acted so guilty, and people are like, and then maybe you're just overthinking it. I know when somebody is guilty. I know when they are guilty. I feel their vibes. I'm very strong with vibes. Like if somebody's upset or something, I know it right off the bat. It's a gift that I got, that I know when somebody's upset or not feeling too good. I know it. I feel it. It's all in the room. I feel everything. And they're like, Neil, I think you're overreacting it and da da da. I'm like, no, I'm serious. He knows that what he did wasn't right, and that's why he's acting like that. He talked to me like here and there, like when it was floetry time, but that was about it. And floetry time is basically the time where everybody performs in front of the school. And he just talked to me then. Other than that, like he talked to me when like my friend was there, when my friend was like putting me into the conversation, but that was about it. He's never ever said anything else to me about the situation. Yeah, but Chevelle wasn't happy either. Not only was like I was upset, but my friends that knew me and knew that Anaya don't play that, Anaya don't like people touching her like that, Anaya has a lot of respect for herself. People understood my anger. I felt very just disrespected, really. Like, I just felt disrespected, and I shouldn't be in his presence at that time because I could just haul off at any moment. So it took a long time for me to just, you know, let it go. Do I hate him now? No, I don't. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I did promise you guys a story time, so guess what? You guys got your story time. So say thank you to your girl down below, and give me much love and respect down below. And if you want some more story times, just comment that down below. And yeah, let's get it. Let's go. Love you all. Mwah.